Sanibonani, hello everybody. It is your girl once again, Unompumelelo Success Waga Machine, also known as Umpumsis of the Masiphumelele movement, and this is me welcoming you back again to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be here today, and I hope you guys are just as excited to watch the video. And yeah, today's video is a story time, as you can see by the title at the bottom. I am hoping to make this just a two-part story time, but I don't trust myself. Let's be honest, I'll put it out there. I think knowing myself, it might end up being a 4-part, but I need to be disciplined, okay? I need to stick to my story. So I have a little script, but actually my script is not so little as I've jotted it down. So don't mind if I just look over here from time to time. I just have points that I will try to stick to, but like I'm saying, and it's same like, because I derail a lot, but also I'm trying to not speak as fast, and I hope I'm also going to be able to keep up with that, because sometimes I really get carried away and then I'm just like rambling the whole time. And guys, if you hear some noises in the background, please don't mind that. It's during the day. There's a school next door me, and obviously some things I really can't control. So I do try to shoot on weekends at times, but sometimes I really don't have the time, and when I try to do it during the week, then there's some disturbances, but please be with me. And also, without me rambling too much, please stay tuned.
Believe you can, and you will. Success is the best revenge.
Okay, so you guys, the story time is basically a story time about myself. So it's basically a get to know me tag, but one without questions, because I know normally for get to know me, a person would maybe put questions or ask for questions on either YouTube or Instagram, whatever, for people to actually send the questions and then they answer. But I'm just gonna be like just telling it as a form of a story. It's just a little background about me, but it's also gonna be mostly based on like my career, where I went to school and things like that, and how I ended up where I am today. So I was born in Tsakane. Okay, Tsakane is a township in the East Rand, Johannesburg, South Africa, for those who don't know whereabout it is. And yeah, I was born in Pulusong Hospital, and I was actually born a premature baby. I think this is my mom's story to tell, to be quite honest, but I think that she had quite a hectic pregnancy with me. So she was just going through a lot with the pregnancy in itself, but also other like social issues around her, like with people around. She was just experiencing a lot of difficulties, such that by the time she delivered, she decided to name me Success twice, because for also those who don't know, Nompumelelo means mother of success, and then success is success. So she just decided to double it. And she's actually the one that came with the slogan of Masiphumelelo movement, which is success is the best revenge. Sorry, because when I was finally born and it was a successful birth, then she said, success is the best revenge, you know, but it's type of thing. But like I'm saying, it's her story to tell. So I was just giving you guys the background of where also success is the best revenge comes from her. That's how I grew up. She'd always just say to me, hey Bella, success is the best revenge, you know, you are a special child, a special gift, you know, because hey, when I delivered you, I went through the most type of thing. So yeah, that's just a background about my birth. Yes. Another thing is that apparently I was so tiny as a baby, so tiny that my mom once got tempted. She wanted to see if I could actually fit, and she fit me in a size 7 box, my dad's size 7 shoe size box, and I actually fit in there, you know. I wonder again how she took me out to but that's how it happened. Okay, I really don't know how true that is, but she keeps telling me that, so I'm starting to believe it. So yeah, that's just, you know, a little background about me. And yeah, after that I went to crèche. I was born actually into a crèche when my mom, like I said, my mom is a teacher. So, but she was like an entrepreneur where she ran her own preschool at the time. And that's basically how I was brought up. I was brought up by a preschool principal. And the preschool is actually older than me, because when I was born, it had already been in its existence for, I think, about 2 or so years. So yeah, that's where I went to crèche, to Domfundo preschool. It is still in existence today, but we are coming to that story. I don't want to mix it up now. And then I went there, but I graduated from, you know, grade R in preschool very quickly. I think I was 5, turning 6, but also that's because I'm a March baby. So you know how with like at school when you are like from June going downwards, you can enter school when you're 5 turning 6, and then like that whole process, which people find unfair, because I've heard people that contest to say, but we're the same age, but you're ahead of me just by advantage of you being born earlier in the year. So, but again, that's not for me to discuss, because I really don't know the reason why. Maybe we should note it as something that we try to find out why. But I guess it has to do a lot with like maybe development of a baby. I really don't know. But I went to Michael Zulu Primary School, my favorite school by far. Loved it there. I went there in grade 1 up to grade 3. So what happened there was, you see, when I was, so Michael Zulu, the home language was isiZulu, and then English was first additional. But at creche, we, as much as it was in the location, but we really spoke English. Like, we were taught in English. We were not really doing crèche in isiZulu. So when I got to the isiZulu primary school, you know, I'm speaking English. So I don't know, I guess it was giving snobbish, as I can imagine, because you know, first day of school, we're in grade 1. I'm very tiny, guys. You can imagine if I could fit into a size 7, a box, a shoe size 7. I've been tiny all my life. Okay, so I was tiny even, you know, back when I was in primary, like if I can remember, compared to my other peers. But so we're introducing ourselves now in class. First day of class, our teacher is like, okay, I want to know you guys. Who are you? You know, stand here and introduce yourself. So I stand in front of the class, and I remember my confidence was on point, child. So I walk off and I say, you know, my name is Nompumelelo Success Mashinini, and I am 5 years old, you know. So then the teacher says to me, hey, when I'm 5 years old, you know, and the reason why she said this was because I think they just had this thing or this mentality, some of the teachers, that when we were too young, like we are siyahlupa because we're not independent enough, we're basically still babies and we still need to be in crèche, we are too young to be in big school basically. So I think she had that mentality and she felt that way. So I think I was very like hurt-ish by that comment. I remember I went home and I told my mom that, hey Sana, this is what the teacher said, and also the fact that I spoke in English. She was just like, we shall see, how you're gonna perform. So I don't know. It's like she said to me, girl, you're up for a challenge, because I took it on, okay? Because after that, when we have parents meeting where they're coming to collect reports after term 1, my report literally had level 3s throughout. It was not up to level was it up to level 4 or level 3 at that time? I think we had up to level 3 if I'm not mistaken, or 4, but I know that I had like the highest. I think it was level 4, and then I think I had like 4 all my subjects. I think I had 1 or 2 3s if I had 3s. So she then, I'm there now with my parents, and then she tells my parent, you know how older people are, obviously when you're just a kid, they're discussing it with my mom, and she says to my mom, hey, when your child first arrived here at school, I told her, I was like, hey, sizobona ke ngawe when 5 years old, and besekangibizwa ngo 5 years old. And your child shocked me because she performed so well, so I just became that girl. I excelled literally in everything, and I was queen of extramurals, and I think I loved that about being in that school. I felt so seen, like I was so involved. I was doing dance, I was doing music, choir, I was doing art, I was doing reading out. Like I was the girl I thought I was. Every trip I'm there, like, and because it was so affordable, the things were not difficult to participate in or be involved at all, and I was really just having fun and living my best life. And I feel like with us, back in the day when we were young and we were kids, things were like a little bit easier, and because firstly we didn't have exams in grade 1. I didn't even have homework in grade 1, to be quite honest. We used to leave our books at the back of the class, and you'd even be in trouble if you left with your book and went with it at home. I only went with like my lunch at school, and we would have different days. Like for instance, they'd say, okay, on Friday come with your, what is it, scrub lap in English, your cleaning cloth, I guess, and your isaga lona ngesingisi, your sack, your orange sack. We used to use those to scrub, and we used to scrub and clean our own classes, washing windows. It was really not dependent on like the school, maintenance people to clean up. Our class was our responsibility, so we had days like that. And then at the end of the term, I think the last 2 weeks of the term, or the last week of the term, we were told to bring toys. Okay, we were told to bring toys to school because it was playing week. I guess because we're done with assessments. I really don't know, but that was my favorite week of school. And the reason for that was because I lived at crèche. Okay, I lived there. So literally, I would go with a box of toys to school, and they would be so full. I had a box and I would drag it to school, and we would all play with my friends, and it used to be so nice. So those are just the fun memories that I keep, when life was much simpler. It was much more fun, okay, until I got to grade 3, okay, and my mom now tells me that the reason why she had taken me to a Zulu primary school is because she wanted me to be able to speak my home language properly, write it properly, and read it. So till this day, and I'm still grateful for it, I know how to read Zulu properly, write, spell, everything. So she said she was not fond of the idea of having a child that only spoke like English and didn't know their own home language. So after that, so she basically wanted to give me the foundation. So after that, also she was advised, I don't even know if they were allowed to do this, but she did say, and I actually also was there when they advised her to say, maybe, take this child of yours. Okay, now that sounds rude, but take your child to a school in town, in the I almost said in the townships, in the suburbs, take your learner to the schools in the suburbs because she's very quick. They felt that I was very quick for the learners in my class, and I really was, as much as I can remember, because I remember I used to literally color my own stuff, like color it in, and then color for the rest of, like, not the rest of the class, but those learners that were, like, I don't know if they were actually they were too lazy to do their work, and then I just say, bring it, you know, I'll color it in for you. So, and also they'd give us like puzzles, like 6-piece puzzles, and at home we were already doing 1,000 or 1.2 pieces with my mom. Like, it was our thing. We used to have puzzle nights, and if they give me a 6-piece, I'm like, psh, then I'm bored, and then I'm disturbing other learners in there. So they said, you know what, your child is like a fast learner, she's too quick, maybe take her to, you know, the school in the suburbs. I don't know, you know, what those sort of recommendations come from and if they're still a thing, but that's what my mom was advised to do. But she says she was already going to do that anyway, because she did that with both my brother and myself. We did our foundation phase at the location, and then while still staying at the location, but we were now traveling to the suburbs, to the suburb schools, to go learn there, I guess. My experience going to the suburb school was insane. I tell you, for the first year, I'm not gonna lie, it was just a culture shock, I think, to say the least. Like, guys, firstly, you know, I like I'm saying, I live in the location, so for me personally, it was such a rarity to see other races. Let me put it that way. Okay, I was just used to my race that I see every day, and then we didn't even have mixed race at my location, because I know that some locations have different. We were just black. So now I get there, and literally every teacher, you know, and everyone is just different. Okay, and for me, firstly, okay, fine, I mean, I used to be the snob, you know, at the location, but when I come here, I don't even think it was a matter of me not knowing. I just think it was a matter of me being shocked at, like, what do I say, you know, how do I communicate? So for that first entire year, things were just, for me, like, I remember that experience. I was just like, firstly, everything was so different from the uniform, you know. And I remember my school, when I first entered the school now, in because I went to Lar School Commando. Imagine, from Michael Zulu Primary School to Lar School Commando, you know, that change, that transition, I really don't know how it works with, like, you know, parents, but like, that was insane. Okay, for me, I think, or maybe I think about it now, but I just remember how lost I was, and I think most of my stories just will relay how lost I was, but I was lost. Because I remember my first day, my mom takes me, shame, you know, but like, she could only walk me up to like assembly, okay? And once again, I was late, so I ran into a gent that I knew. It sounds weird now saying it's a gent, but a boy, because we were younger. I ran into a boy that I know from church, okay? And I decided to just follow the guy, because I'm just like, oh, okay, I found a fellow friend, and then I proceed with the friend when he goes to now his class that he's designated, okay? I didn't wait like for my name to be called or for me to be put in a certain class. I just thought, oh, here's my friend, let me go with him, and I went with him. So we go to that class, and when we get there, they tell us, they basically, the teacher is double checking if everyone that's on the register is there. So she's basically marking the register, because it's obviously a first day of school, and I guess they're aware that some learners will be lost and that type of thing, so they were doing the protocol or the check or whatever. So they call everyone's name but mine, nah? So she then asks, whose name did I not call? I did not even put up my hand, and I knew I was not called, but I was just so lost, guys. I cannot stress this enough, okay? So they, obviously the other learners that were there in that school, because that guy that I know from there, he had been there from like since grade R even, so So then they say, "Abakbizanga," you know, "abakbizanga," type of thing. So they say, "Hi, you know, it's you. They didn't call you." Blah blah blah. And then I'm like, okay, like, and then they're like, you know, who are you? What's your name? I'm quiet because, like, I'm not even answering anything. So I think now they're even under the impression that I probably do not know English, you know. And then so they're like, "Hey, who knows her or whatever?" And then the guy says, "Yeah, I know her, ma'am." And she, and like, he's you know, it's his hood, it's his place, so he's like, you know, hyped and he's doing the things. So he then says, "No, I know him, so I know her." And then they like to him translate to her. And then he says to me, "Batubani kamalako," you know, and I'm like, "No Mpumelelo." "And your surname?" And then Mashinini, and then they look for me, and I'm not there in the register. So then, but I think they had all the class registers, like I say, Guti. I think because they knew that some learners will get lost, so that you can check against the learner and then send them to the right class, I guess. And it happened to be that learner. Then they said, "No, take her, you know, to Miss whoever's class." And then they, you know, they take me there, and then that was my register class. But even so, I'm lost, guys. Also because from learning mame mi mo mu, you know, oh mama balele e baleni, to like learning about cells and I don't know, like, you know, natural science was my biggest challenge, and life skills, I don't know why, but I remember those were my biggest challenges. So also no one is translating for you about the cell or whatever, so they'd give us homework and I'd be so lost, like I didn't even know I had homework. Also remember, from not having homework, like leaving my book at home, to now I have assignments, like, and nobody, the thing is for me, and I think that's why I'm saying there's really gaps that needs to be bridged in the system, because like nobody took their time to like explain to me, because okay, things work different here, and I'm not even blaming the teacher per se, but I don't know where, maybe at home or maybe the teacher themselves, to say, okay, there's gonna be some adjustment, you know, you're no longer gonna be doing things this way. Or maybe it was different because maybe in that school, in grade 1, 2 and 3, they do have homework already, unlike the school I previously went to. So for me, I was chilled. Okay, so now I'm getting zeros, like out of 20 and things like that, you know. So come end of first term, I failed, bro. And like I really did, you know. And my mom was so mad. Imagine you took your child from like the school, and also you know your child, you know, and you took them from this school to this school because they got good recommendations, and like you just know your child, their capabilities, and then now they failed, they're coming like they're coming home with a 28% on the report. Oh, my mom went mad. So now my mom asks me, she's like a sensible, you know, parent, right? Before she went to go put on a fight at school, she asks me first, because she's really trying to understand my side of the story as to like why. Like, why are you failing? What seems to be the problem? Are you not understanding the teacher? What is wrong? You know, what did you fail? And then she says, take out your books, you know, because also I think my mom, since my school career, I was not really that much of a child that needed like support in terms of like homeworks, like being helped and stuff. I was very independent, you know. I was able to handle my own, you know. Most of the time when I'd ask her to really help me with projects was like maybe if like it was those hard, you know, hand projects where I need her to hold as I go like in technology, or like I needed money for like to make copies at the library, at the internet cafe, or like things that, you know, were really outside of my control, especially in terms of resources. But if it's just a homework activity, like an answer a question and whatever, then I was able to handle it, you know. But that was now, I guess it was an adjustment for like the both of us, in the sense of Naye, she probably then was not aware that I was now struggling at this new school. She probably thought I got it, you know, because I was fine. I didn't know I was struggling. I was just cruising through everything because I was not aware, Guti, I'm going through the most. I was going through the most, child, because I was failing. So my mom says, take out your books. And then I take out my book. Actually, I don't think I had failed the term now. I think in this incident that I'm talking about, I had failed the assignment in and of itself. I had gotten 8, I think, out of 28 or something like that though, or 28% or something like that though. I know there was a 28% involved. And then my mom then said, take out the assignment, let me see. Oh, because I came back home with the assignment to give to my mom, because the teacher shouted at me and told me to give this to my mom for my mom to sign. But because I was not even aware that like I had done something wrong, like honestly guys, I didn't even understand why she was screaming at me. Like I was just like, and then because she was shouting at us, like, but I was not the only one that failed class. Okay, so she was saying, those ones that failed, take back your scripts home. I want it signed for your parent to see that you actually failed this assignment, so that once you fail, yes, I think it was like that, Gucci, once you fail at the end of the term, then your mom would have seen your scripts and saw that you're not performing well, so they needed my mom's signature. Your mom must sign here. So I'm chilled. I take it home. I'm like, Mom, they said you must sign here. Oh, my mom went mad. And then she was like, take out the rest of your books. And then she says to me, okay, fine, you were given an assignment. What are you supposed to do here? Blank. I was blank, guys. I knew nothing. And then she says to me, did the teacher explain this to you? I'm like, I'm blank. And it was like a natural science project. It was a huge like research thing. You had to take soil at home and do this, I guess, an experiment, and then you answer the questions based on what you saw, type of thing. I didn't even do that, nothing. And when she explained that, I don't know where I was. I was in class for sure, but mentally I was lost. Okay, so my mom then says, I'm not going to sign this. I'm going to come to school tomorrow. So I start panicking, and I say to her, I don't know if I cried, but I know I was panicking. I was like, no, the teacher said that if you don't sign, she's gonna kick me out of class. So please sign this, otherwise I'm not going to class. So my mom says, okay, I'm not gonna sign. I'm gonna write a note, because I'm not gonna sign something I don't understand, because I don't understand how my child failed. So then she writes a note. She says, if you had taught this, something like that, if you had taught this to the learners properly, then my child would have not failed. She writes that speech, but I'm also not aware. My mom wrote there, and she was so like, she wrote back in a red pen too, okay? And it was like a paragraph of a whole thing that she wrote on my script for me to give it back to the teacher. Teacher calls our names, the ones that I said sign it, and I was like I said, guys, I was an obedient child. I didn't hide it or try to sign it myself or tell my mom stories. No. I was fine. I was loyal. I was doing things the right way, as I was supposed to, you know. Then the teacher is now calling us by list to say, those ones that failed, come bring your stuff. And then I bring mine, and then she reads it. Yeah, I was surrounded with so much fury in that week, because the teacher got so mad. She started crying. She shouted at me. When I close my eyes, I see her face. I see her here shouting at me, bro. And she's also now trying to get answers out of me, but I don't have any. I don't know why my mom wrote that. My mom asked me things and I explained to her, and then she wrote a thing. She says she's not gonna sign. So then then the teacher was the one that said, bring your mom to school tomorrow, because this is not allowed. Okay, cool. I'm like, okay, I'll tell her. And then I remember it was now the last day of school, I think, because you know how assessment week is literally towards the end of when you guys are gonna close schools. So we were then closing schools at that time. I don't know if maybe this was the last thing we did, yeah, because they had even they gave us our marks and everything. So I guess we were towards the end of school. I then go to school, we even wearing, casual that day and whatever. So my friends and I, we told each other. I don't know where we used to get these rumors, because I never used to be that type of kid that like does not listen. I think some of the teachers and whatever told us that even if you don't bring your books to school tomorrow, it's fine, because we're not gonna learn, we're done writing, So I go to school and I don't take my books with me. I didn't even have my proper like big, what is this, school bag. I had like a little cute, those cute teddy bear, cute with the zip pouches. I just put my lunch in there and my lunch money, and that was it. So the next day I'm playing at the field, living my best life, guys. I was just cruising innocently, okay, through life, as I should have been. I was, how old? 8 in grade 4. Come on. Then my thingy, I hear the intercom saying, like, I'm being called at the intercom, but I didn't even hear it. I remember my friends coming in a rush. You're being called on the intercom. And I was like, why was I so nonchalant about life? Like, to think now I'm such a focused chick now. But I think back then I was just playing. Okay, so I'm glad I used my playing. Yes, I should have been playing, because now life is playing with me. I'm kidding. Okay, so I play a lot. And I go to the office. Okay, they say your mom is here, blah blah blah, go to the office. So when I go to the office, then the teacher says to me, take out your books. I'm like, what books? She's like, where are your books? I'm like, they're at home. Why are they at home? Because I was told to leave them at home. By who? This teacher. Now teachers are in trouble. Guys, my mom was just telling teachers off. Teachers were crying. It was a big mess. Like, teachers are hating me now. And my mom is also shouting at me, who said you must not come with your books? And I'm like, no, it was a thing here at school that we're not bringing books today because... And to be quite fair, the teachers did tell us, but they're obviously not supposed to tell us by law. So now, because there's a principal involved, the principal is asking, where are your books? And then I'm saying, but the teacher said we must not bring the books. And then now the teachers are in trouble. So not only for the fact that there's a parent claiming that the teacher is not explaining work, but now the teachers are telling learners not to bring books to school. And why? Are they doing that? So now they're trying to make me out the teacher that... It was just an entire teacher bag. But all I know is that my mom told that teacher off, and she said my child is capable, and these results are not a true reflection of my child, so do better, teach better. And then this lady tried to explain that, but others passed it. Your child is the one that just did not complete the thing. And then my mom said, yay, I said my child is capable, so do. But then they reached an agreement that, okay, fine, it's fine. I'm also gonna now pay more attention and help her in school, at home, but also you at school. So this teacher now became my favorite teacher ever. Like, in that primary school, loved her. Like, I started, that's when I started now growing into it. I became a teacher's pet, and then now I was just excelling in my studies. Except for like a few where, there'd just be a few issues where like the whole class fails and I'm also in there. But otherwise, I was good. I was a perfect, in grade 7 and all of that. After that, I got the hang of things, and I was like, honestly, at like the top of my game. After that, we didn't really have a top 10 in my school, which hurts me when I think back at it, because I'm just like, honestly, it could have motivated me more. Like, when I got to high school, and in high school we actually had a top 10, I was like, where was this when I needed it in primary? So like, just to push more, because we would just guess as to how well we are doing, but we really did not know. So you were not really rewarded for whatever. The only way I was just rewarded was my badge as like an RCL. No, I was a learner leader in primary school. So yeah, so that was my life in primary, and then now I'm gonna cover my life in high school kind of thing. I already covered just a bit of it in the previous video if you watched. If you haven't, please go back so that you don't get lost. Okay, thank you. But yeah, high school guys, I don't know. I think I've been lost half of my life. Like, because honestly, for me, to be quite honest, personally, this is my personal experience, primary school, you know, starting from when I came to after my grade 3, for me, crèche till grade 3 was spectacular, amazing. And then starting from grade 4 till matric, it was just life. I think I lived, yes, but it was not the most. There were exciting times, yes, especially in high school. High school definitely more than primary. I think I had nicer times there, especially because also in high school I was more now in my culture as well, again, of people where we did, you know, nice things, and I felt more involved also in like the activities and everything. So because I went to Brakpan High School, shout out, with my people. So yeah, I at least felt involved there. But nakona, I still feel like I didn't have the best years of my life in high school. Like I really feel like it could have been better for me. I enjoyed varsity. My goodness. Okay, but I'm derailing now. So high school, I went to Brakpan High School. Grade 8, I was cute. Okay, I was cute. In the sense that I was just new, I was innocent, my tunic was long, I was lost still. I'm looking around for people. There was still bits and like, you know, just a little bit of people that I knew from primary, but now we're not friends, because also I've never been a person really of being in a squad of friends. Like, I've just always been one to have just one friend. So if that one friend is not there, or I lose that friend, or we did not happen to go to the same high school, then I don't know anyone. I know the people that, oh, I went with this person, but it's not that deep, you know. So there were no friends that I migrated with from, like, because I know other people did that, where they move with their entire squad from primary to high school. I never used to care about those things, man. Like, I don't know what I cared about really, but those things, I know I had a friend, and I did not even keep in touch to such an extent, you know, like, as to know where they even went after grade 7. I was just like, when I ran into them later, that's where I learned, oh, you went to this school, oh, okay. But so in grade 8, I remember I get there, I'm lost, whatever, but I knew some people. I knew, you know, some of the teachers I went to church with, and some of the other, you know, learners, we went to church together. So church has actually been the thing that had helped me in those times, because those are the people that I stuck with. I enjoyed grade 9 the most in my entire high school career. Grade 9 was the best, and I think what made it the best was this. In my high school, grade 9 was the highest. So our high school was separated into two. We had FET and we had GET. Oh, the other way, GET then FET. So GET is the general education and training, and in education terms, it means that because I think the policies in South Africa, or the law, says that you need to go to school up to 16 years old. It's a must for you to go to school. Other learners in grade 10, they are 16 hours 15, but it's a must for you to go to school until you are 16 years old. And then after that, you know, it's a choice type of thing. And I think a lot of people are not aware of that, or a lot of learners, I don't know, but I also didn't know as a learner. That's why you find that some people after grade 9, they'll just, you know, go straight to college, because some colleges offer, you know, FET. But those are things that we need to learn, and also make it known out there that there's this, you know, opportunity, or there's this possibility. You know, you don't have to literally go through the same steps as everyone, but also, I guess, the norm is that we all just go up to grade 12 and then figure things out from there. But so we were separated into the compulsory school. The 8 and 9 was another branch, and then the 10, 11, 12 up to matric was then also a different branch. So that's just how it worked. That's just how it worked. So when you were a grade 9, you were senior. Okay, so I was in my senior years, I was in my senior era, I was living life. I was a prefect. We were RCL then, and I was the religious leader. Okay, I was good. So in terms of like assembly, time to pray, it's me. I needed to organize that. I needed to organize who was gonna preach at assembly, anything church, church not church, but we had the SCO, which was the school Christian organization, I think. Yes, we had that. But obviously when the other guy that I knew from church, he was the one that I found in charge. And then when he left to go to FET, I then took over. Obviously I was voted in, and it was a normal, legal procedure as per school terms. So but I took over from him, and I was now the religious leader. So I enjoyed that so much. We got into mischief in grade 9 that I am not going to get into, because honestly it would take me a whole year to relay the story, because you see how I relay stories. So and I like that, and for me it was really my favorite time of my entire like school career minus university. Also because I had never been to like any mischief, except for that part where my mom went to school because of my marks in grade 4. That was literally the second time that my mom went to school for something, like being summoned for like a hearing and whatever. Okay, but now I'm gonna make people curious and leave them hanging, but I'm not gonna tell you. It's not that deep though. It's just I was a kid. Yes, but like I was just in my element. Like I think that's where I was naughty, like I'm saying that most of the time I was just unaware of what is going on. But that's when I started like developing, I guess, as a person, and I was aware of things and how they happen, and standing for something and all of that. So I really, really enjoyed high school. I enjoyed grade 9. It was nice. It was amazing. You should have been there. I'm kidding. Okay, let me stop being silly. And then on grade 9, it was nice. Then, like I said, when I started getting into high school, I love the fact that I was an RCL, I was in choir once again, I was I was involved in different projects. We were in newspapers, I was in the top 10. So I felt like I'm a community of something, and I belonged, and then I moved to FET. And then when you move to FET, you literally become the baby again, because now you are in grade 10, but now you are young again, and you come from being the senior that side. So that was also for me a bit tricky. And I started grade 10, I was lost again. So what I then noticed about myself, I'm derailing now again, but what I later noticed about myself is that I'm not adaptive. I'm not too adaptive to change. Change for me is difficult. So, and I realized that's why I would feel so lost whenever there was just a switch or a change in my life. So this did not only happen earlier in my life, it still happens now, where if there's just a switch or a change, I'm uncomfortable and I feel a bit, so now I've learned that change is good, because I'm trying to teach it to myself. But back then, so I was in grade 10. Firstly, it's a different school. Okay, still the same uniform, and we also kind of, not really though, had the same teachers. But due to whatever reason, I said that I had been summoned to a hearing, whatever, but the schools merged eventually. So now we were starting from grade 8 to 12 in one campus. We were no longer two different campuses. So at least we still moved with some of the teachers and the learners, so the faces were familiar still, and we still, the ones that were our seniors when we got into grade 8 were now our seniors again. So it was just it was just going forward. But what puzzled me about grade 10 is the change in like subjects. Like I told the story of subjects previously, that I'm now learning like things differently, you know. And that for me, that balance was also a bit tricky, because I remember, I think there was even a time, maybe the first 2 terms or the first term in grade 10, I was not even in the top 10 because I was lost. I was like, and that's where I was doing the maths that I'm complaining about, and the physics and all the things. So I was just like, then eventually I got the hang of it, and I was now back in the top 10. For me, being in the top 10 is what determined life in school. Like, I guess that's where I found purpose at the time. But I was also everywhere. Like, I remember there was a teacher that was forcing me to do debates. And I'm so bad at arguing anything, I would run away from that teacher. But I used to do your oral, your I-State-Fords, I'd be the one that selected to go to represent my school to other schools. I ran away from debates, but I did some public speaking to an extent. And then I was in choir. I did ladies soccer. I ran. People still don't believe when I tell them this, and people never used to believe me even when I was in school and I used to tell them that I ran. I think it's because ngamabata. Well, kiss namabata, so I'm like this. Oh my word. Yeah, that used to be the case. So people would look at my legs and they'd be like, girl, you can't run to save your life. And I actually used to learn, but I did not have speed. I had endurance. And I think maybe even in terms of my life today, that's how things are. Endurance maybe is what I do have. So I used to run 400 meters as well as 800 meters. So 400 meters is the one where you go one lap around the field, and then 800 meters you did 2 laps. I never used to run the sprints because I didn't have speed, but I could nyanweba, nyanweba. So I used to be so good at that. So my mom never used to even when I'd say like I sing and I'm in choir, and she'd cheer and be like, yeah, my child. But whenever I tell her that I ran too, she'd be like, you. And she wouldn't believe me to such an extent that I came with medals at home, and she was still like, you lying, they ain't yours. And I'm just like, why is it so hard to believe that I do athletics, guys? Because also in primary, I used to do long jump, and I sucked at it, and it's because I was forced, and I didn't even resonate with the thing. I always felt like I was robbed when we'd go to inter-schools. So it was not interesting for me. But when I got to high school, I was doing all these things, and I was in my hippie era. And when we finally got to matric, I was then I had been a prefect, since, except for grade 10, because I was banned from being a prefect in grade 9, end of grade 9. So grade 10, I was not a prefect. That was the most miserable year of my life, because honestly, I don't know, but I always felt, for me, being prefect and being in the top 10 was school for me, and getting 100% attendance at the end of the year. That for me, that certificate, I don't know how many I had. I never missed a day of school. Whatever, come what may, rain or shine, I would go to school. I remember I would go to school that teachers would chase me away, and not in a bad way, but I remember one teacher saying to me, bruh, why would you come to school even when no other learners are coming? I'd go to school when it's only teachers, and then maybe there'd just be 2 of us learners, and then they'd ask us, why are you here? Why are you staying at home? And I'd just be because they'd even say, some of them knew me personally, so they'd say, you even have a school at your house, or crèche or whatever, you can stay there. It's not like you have no one to stay with you or whatever. And I'd just be like, no, I want 100% attendance. I wanted an extra certificate that would add to the choir certificate I'm getting, the academic certificate I'm getting, the perfect, and then I would add the sport certificate and the 100% attendance. I just needed to ensure that I was getting the things. So I always loved to achieve. It was my favorite thing. I still get shocked that there were people who did not care about, there were people who did not care, who were not bothered. I was speaking to someone a week or 2 ago, and they said that, so this person is my friend, and I laughed at her when she said, after school she did not care about varsity. Like when we were busy registering for varsity and whatever, like the story that I told, she said she was unfazed then. Like she wasn't bothered. I'm like, what did you do? You didn't even apply to one varsity. She's like, no. I'm like, what did you think your plan of action was? And she said, like, I was just nonchalant. And I'm like, were you not stressed? Were you not worried? And she says no. So that's what I'm saying. I get shocked that some people didn't have the same issues and the same problems that I had. Like, I used to cry. I even used to fast for me to become a prefect. And I don't know now why it was so important for me then, but it meant a great deal. I don't know if maybe because there was not even that much benefits. Oh, but there was, and I used the benefits. Like I was the bad prefect, like the one that follows the law. Like, I was not the naughty prefect. I was the one that would write your name if you're talking, and I'd confiscate your socks if they were incorrect. I'd tell you to cut your nails if they were too long. I was that person. I've always been a person that loved instilling law. So when we finally got to the executive phase in grade 12, I was in the executive as in an environmental prefect. Like, I was in charge of the environment at school, ensuring that picking up papers, we're doing recycling and all of those things. I don't know why I had chosen environmental then, but maybe it's because I had been aware already that I had registered for environmental thingamabobs in varsity, because remember I said we did it in grade 11. So by the time I was in matric, I was an environmental officer. So now I'm an official environmental officer, but that is a story for another day. I'm going to close this video here today. I hope that you can enjoy this video. I hope that it made sense. I felt like though I was trying to have structure, I was still rambling a lot, and I think I'm just also being disturbed by the noise outside. So I think I'm just gonna cut the video here, and then I'm gonna carry on with you guys on the next episode. So please do tune in, please do stay tuned. Please let me know what you think of the video, and if you have different suggestions. Did you enjoy it? Do you look forward to part 2 of the rest of the story? I hope that is the case. And if you reached the end of this video, please live. You see that pink tulip, the tulip, it's a flower on the emojis. Please leave that emoji and a purple heart, just to say, girl, I watched till the end and I enjoyed your story and I enjoy the channel. I know it's still just episode 2, but you get the drift. Thank you so much, guys. See you in part 2 of my story time. Thank you for watching.